Are you sick and tired of the poor payouts in Gran Turismo 7? Do you find yourself going to the garage to buy your favourite car and still not having enough credits? Well, stay tuned, I'm about to help with all of that. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Sammy Snake Racing YouTube channel. Now, did you know that there are over 500 cars within Gran Turismo 7? And it would take 500 to 550 million credits to be able to buy every single one. We've already seen that grinding credits can be a long and arduous process, but don't despair. I'm going to share with you 5 of the best methods to earn credits as fast as possible, so stay tuned. Right, starting at number 5, we've got circuit experiences. I know some of you might be watching thinking, this is the fastest way to earn credits, why is this at number 5? Well, that's for good reason. Circuit experience is a one-time only deal. So if we look at Brands Hatch, we'll see that for completing all 4 sectors and the full lap to a bronze time, you get 120,000 credits. And if you achieve gold, you get an extra 600,000 credits. And the footage that you'll see playing in front of you shows how fast this can be achieved. I went through every single sector and the full lap first time, and within no time at all, I'd earned over 700,000 credits. So as you can see, this is a great way to earn credits. I would advise this is where you start if you haven't already got all of the circuit experiences complete, as not only is this a great way to earn credits, it's a great way to practice your driving ability and get used to different tracks and different cars in this game. If you're struggling to actually get the gold times, one thing I'd advise is in the ghost settings just here, make sure you've got the demonstration ghost on, the ghost reset position on, and it's set to 0.3 seconds so you can follow the example very easily. So moving on to number 4, we have custom races. Now for this, you're going to need a few things. First of all, you're going to have to head over to the dealership, go to America, over to Dodge and buy yourself a Tomahawk just here. It will cost you 1 million credits, but believe you me, it's worth the investment as soon as you see what you can do with this car to earn credits. Once you bought this car, head over to the tuning shop and I want you to buy a customizable transmission. It's on the racing tab. You go down 5 rows, I believe it is, in the middle. We've already purchased it, but that's what you need to buy next. Now, once you've bought this incredibly fast car and put the customizable racing gearbox on, head over to the garage and go to vehicle settings. I want you to make sure that this customizable gearbox is fitted and adjust the gear ratios. Set it to 500. Make sure obviously it's fully customizable racing gearbox that's on there, and then change the gear ratios to this. This is going to limit the vehicle's top speed. Now you're going to learn more as to why this is going to benefit you and how we can manipulate this in custom races soon, so stay tuned. The next thing you need to do is head to your garage and look for a car that has got a low amount of performance points but a really good top end speed. Because what we're going to do, we're going to set a custom race up and use this car that has a low amount of performance points to our advantage to earn more credits. Now there's a few cars I would recommend if you're a level collector 50 or above. They would be the Honda Beat, the Honda S660 or the Suzuki Cappuccino. You can engine swap all of these cars and you can set them up so they have a really low performance point score if you've got the tune. Don't worry, I'm just about to share with you the tune for a Honda Beat that you can use this method for. So for the Honda Beat, you're going to want to put 2 tunes on this car. You can see I've pre-saved 2 sheets to easily switch between them. I've got my low PP and my money grind. The low PP one puts comfort hard tyres on there and basically strips all of the mods and adds ballast. That is pretty much the easiest way to make sure the performance points are as low as possible, as the lower the performance points are, the more financially rewarded you will be within the race. And then for the tune that you're going to use in the race, which I've saved as Money Grind, you want to switch the tyres straight away to racing softs and basically take the ballast off and reapply all the mods that you've taken off, and add a bit of aero as well. So just maximize everything you can. It doesn't matter how high the performance points go, we can bypass this. I'm about to show you how. So once we've done those things, I want you to head over to World Circuits, over to America, and over to Daytona International Speedway, bottom right hand corner, and we're going to select custom race in the bottom right hand corner. One thing I need to mention is that you should make sure you've completed all circuit experiences to ensure that you can get the maximum bonus from custom races, which is 400%. Now if we go to load settings, you're going to see that I've already pre-saved these under money. And you'll see that just for one lap of Daytona, which takes less than 50 seconds, I'm going to get £10,800. These are the settings that I want you to pay attention to. The most important one is where you select your rival, and I want you to put that as select from garage, and then go into that menu and ensure that every other car on the grid is that Tomahawk that you've just changed the gearbox in. So what the game will do now is it registers that you are in your Honda Beat with a low performance point score, racing against a Tomahawk. It thinks you've got no chance, so it says if you're going to win this race, we're going to give you a lot of money. And you'll see as we change the laps, it's basically 10,000 per lap. So you can choose the race length that you want to do. You can also do the rubber band method, where if you leave your controller on the side and put a rubber band around the accelerator, because it's just a circular track, you will go around and win this race anyway. So you can even do this AFK if you feel like it. Now before you start the race, you need to go to settings. This is just going to make it a little bit easier. So go into your car settings, detailed settings, and load up your money grind one. Now you've got a lot more performance points. It'll be much faster, much easier to drive, and you're still going to get the same amount of credits. How good is that? Now you're going to see how fast you can actually earn credits. We're going to do one lap here, which with a clean race bonus puts that up to a winning of 16,200 in 50 seconds. And if you do more laps, there'll be less than 50 seconds as we started from a standstill. So this is how many credits can be earned from this method. It's not my personal favourite, but definitely a way to earn a lot of credits in a short period of time. Just bear in mind, if you're going to use the AFK method, you're more than likely going to lose that clean race bonus. So that's not something that I personally would like to do, but still, at least you're earning credits without even being at the game, and you could do something else. Coming in at number 3 are the weekly time trials. Now I'm going to keep this brief as this is a very well documented way of earning credits. There's a new time trial every 2 weeks with a certain car and a certain track, and if you're fast enough to get a gold time, you earn 2 million credits. I have just uploaded a recent YouTube video which goes into depth of how best to get a gold time and find pace around any track with any car. So I'll put the link of that video in the description. If you're struggling to get gold, watch that and that should help. So coming in at number 2, it is the Le Mans 700 PP race. Now for this, I'm going to give you a couple of recommendations. Firstly, a car to use, and that is the Aston Martin VGT just here. It's going to cost you 1 million credits, but you can soon earn that back. This car is set up perfectly for this race. It's just under 700 performance points. There's no tuning that needs to be done. You can just buy the car, jump into the race, and it is good to go. No faffing around at all. Okay, let me show you where this race is. You go over to World Circuits, you obviously go over to Europe, and you will find the Le Mans 24-hour racing circuit. And if we scroll across, you will find the World Touring Car 700 PP race, and that is worth 550,000 credits if you manage to win it. And then if you get a clean race bonus of 40%, it's worth over 800,000 credits. It's a 30-minute race. All you have to do is make sure you don't hit any cars, come in first place, and those 800,000 credits are yours for the taking. So this is a really enjoyable way to earn credits. It's not quite the fastest, or not what I would rank as number one, that is coming up, but it's a really good way to earn credits. It is by no means straightforward though. So this is a variable weather race with rain normally coming in around lap 2, so you normally have to jump in the pits and change onto some wet tyres and drive through the rain for a bit. So for that reason, I'm starting with fuel map 6 for a couple of reasons really. One, to take it steady around these first few corners and make sure that we don't collide with these slower cars, and secondly, to make sure we're saving enough fuel in case we can go an extra lap on the dry tyres. Sometimes you can do an extra lap, and by saving fuel in the beginning, it allows you to have that option to go an extra lap without jumping in the pits. So fuel map 6 to begin with, but then when you get on the straights, fuel map 1, and do your best to catch up with the cars in front and overtake them. This is a safe place to overtake, and as soon as you are past these cars, you can just start relaxing and focusing on your own driving without the erratic AI potentially hitting you, without you potentially hitting them, which will lose you your clean race bonus. That is something that you need to focus on with this race. You need to make sure it's a clean race, and you need to make sure that you don't ruin that by colliding with the AI. Otherwise, you lose out on nearly half the credits that you could earn here. Another recommendation I would give for this car and this race is to actually move the brake balance all the way to the front. This car is a little temperamental under brakes, so by moving the brake balance to the front, it helps it to be more stable. Check out my latest YouTube video covering all aspects about braking balance if you're a little unsure about how to make the most of that. Another tip I'd give you is to make sure you keep the weather radar open on this race. It's always good to keep an eye out when that wet weather is coming so you don't make any silly mistakes. If you miss your timings with coming into the pits and get caught in the wet weather, then it's pretty disastrous. It's a very long track, so if you end up going past the pits, it starts to rain, then you're going to lose a lot of time, you're probably going to crash, and you could lose your clean race bonus and risk not even winning the race. So keep the weather radar open to make sure you don't make that silly mistake. There's nothing worse than throwing 30 minutes of your life away and not getting the maximum amount of credits that you are hoping for. Once you've jumped in the pits and survived the wet weather for a few laps, you may want to put traction control on during that time. You want to keep an eye on the moisture meter in the bottom left hand corner. You can see it just next to the tyres there, and that is your indication of when you want to come back into the pits and swap onto the dry tyres. You can see it's just about to drop below that third line, and that is when the track is dry enough for the drier compound, the racing hard tyres. So when you see that, jump in the pits and make sure you get onto the faster tyre again. And then look at the amount of time that you've got left. We can see we've got 9 minutes. So with each lap taking roughly about 4 minutes, we know we need at least 2.5 laps of fuel. Now I'm going to show you something at the end that we did here to make sure we maximised the time to earn credit. So stay tuned. So as we fast forward it there towards the end of this race, you may have noticed I have a potential problem here. I have got low fuel. I haven't got enough fuel to go an extra lap, but I did this purposely. I didn't worry about needing 3 laps of fuel, even though I knew that was probably what I would end up doing. And that's because there's a big enough gap to the car behind. There's such a big gap to the car behind that I can sit before the finish line and wait for the timer to tick down so I don't have to spend extra time on the track. So this was actually faster, more efficient way of earning credits. Wait at the line for it to count down. There's a big enough gap to the cars behind. There's no point going out for another lap. Just sit it out, wait for the timer to tick down, and then cross the line and earn those credits. And now my number one method for grinding credits as fast as possible in Gran Turismo 7. Some of you may have guessed it if you know a little bit about grinding credits, and that's right, it's the World Touring Car 600 race at Tokyo Expressway. For this guide, I'm not actually going to cover it in this video. I've already created a full in-depth guide that I'm going to put a link to the video in the description of this video, so you can see exactly what car you need to use, what tune you need to use to allow you to go sub 24 minutes without grinding against the wall. It's going to give you the race strategy, it's going to give you a lap guide, it's going to give you the tune for the car to allow you to do this race, earn 850,000 credits in under 24 minutes. That's over 2 million credits an hour. So I implore you, go over, watch that video. It covers everything you need to know. And that concludes today's video. That's 5 ways to grind credits on the game to help to keep things interesting. As you can see, I've got a nice healthy bank balance of 86 million, which will allow me to do pretty much anything I want in the game, buy anything I like. I've just got to get those invitation tickets now to complete my collection. But if you did find this video helpful, do me a favor, leave a like on the video, and if you're not subscribed, please do. We're on our way to 3,000 subscribers, so any help is much appreciated. But from the Racing Snake, it's over and out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.